We've been creating content for CVP for almost 4 years now, and over that time, we have used a massive range of different cameras to shoot a variety of different projects. We used the RED Gemini as our primary camera for a majority of those years, and we recently switched over to the RED Komodo. In this video, we're going to talk about our time using the camera, what we love, and why we choose to shoot RED in our studio. We shoot a range of content inside our studio, but the bulk of it is content for our YouTube channel and imagery for our social media, our website, and other promotional material. We sold our RED Gemini last year with the aim to move to the Raptor, but decided to grab a Komodo to fill the gap between us selling that and grabbing a replacement camera. That was just about 6 months ago now. One big reason we picked up the Komodo is for its form factor. It's a 4x4 inch cube and it's incredibly versatile. A stripped down Komodo with an outrigger handle, monitor mount, monitor and a couple of BPs on the back is one of our favourite run and gun setups. It's such a nice form factor to use. However, in the studio, the small form factor means that we can rig it up into much bigger, complex setups if we need to, or just have it really stripped down for basic configurations. We've rigged it up with large cinema lenses, a follow focus system, wireless video and V-locks, and then also stripped it all the way down to just using BP batteries on the back and a lightweight Canon RF lens for setups like a top-down setup like we did for this 5 accessories video. This setup is so lightweight that it makes mounting it so easy and flexible. However, for our more general in-house content setup, we adapt our lenses to EF and then use a set of Zeiss Otus primes and a Milvus 100mm macro. We use the included EF to RF Canon adapter that comes with the Komodo. The dual Canon BP plate on the back of the camera for power is really versatile. Not only can you use BP batteries, which are really cheap and easy to acquire now, but you can easily adapt out to V-lock as well if you need to. You can also hot swap between BP batteries, which is really helpful for longer recording sessions where we don't want to power the camera down. We also use the included main supply cable quite a bit too when shooting in the studio. Another big reason we picked up the Komodo for all our in-house video content is the overall image quality. RED's colour science has always been fantastic, but with the Komodo as well as the Raptor, it does seem like they've improved over the DSMC2 line, and RED have always made it so easy to get a good looking Rec 709 image very quickly. We don't really film too much in the studio that takes advantage of the Komodo's global shutter sensor, but when out and about filming BTS, it's pretty nice to have to not worry about rolling shutter performance. The RED Komodo features a 6K sensor, and I think 5 or 6K is really the sweet spot at the moment for sensor resolution. Having the ability to shoot in 6K is great for a couple of reasons. We deliver mainly at 4K, so downscaling from 6 to 4K means we get some of the benefits you get from downscaling. However, we also like having the ability to crop and reframe without having to sacrifice resolution below 4K. And this is good for adding subtle pans or zooms to make shots a bit more interesting. One thing that we've noticed while processing Komodo footage is just how long it takes to apply warp stabilization to R3D 6K footage over 4K compressed footage. I know that's going to be pretty obvious, but it's quite substantial how much slower these clips are to stabilize in Premiere. Over the past 6 months of us using the Komodo as our primary camera, we have come to expose our B-roll in a certain way to give us the best results. We do this by using a combination of ISO and the traffic light system. We monitor at the lowest ISO possible, which is 250, and we then use the traffic light system to overexpose until our highlight traffic lights come on, and then we dial it back down so they go away and we're not clipping. This essentially means we're exposing to the right. In this situation we are using the Komodo in, this is the best way that we found to get the cleanest imagery possible. One of the biggest changes between DSMC2 and the Komodo is how much faster the camera is to operate as well, due to the menu's much snappier performance. This is especially evident when using the punch-in. It's so much more fluid to use than DSMC2, and we use it constantly. The Komodo's autofocus is also the best system RED have ever implemented into one of their cameras. It's not as mature as the systems found in Canon or Sony cameras, but considering this is their first phaser tech system, it's very usable, especially as just a tap to get focus or for simple shots such as bringing stuff up into frame in a top-down setup. I would love to see RED push this even further and introduce some kind of tracking for people and objects. It would make it such a great system. We pretty much solely shoot R3D when using our Komodo, though you of course can shoot ProRes if you'd like. The reason we choose R3D is for how flexible it is in post and the image it allows us to craft. There are 3 flavours of R3D, LQ, MQ and HQ. We mainly shoot LQ, as we are mainly shooting content just for our YouTube, but we do shoot MQ and HQ sometimes, such as when we are shooting tests that we need to evaluate, or if we are out shooting in highly detailed areas where you can see a big difference between the different compression ratios. HQ is aimed to be close to a 3:1 compression ratio, MQ close to 6:1, and LQ close to 9:1. However, RED are using a variable data rate across these 3 different presets. When shooting in 6K 17:9 at 23.98 frames per second, using a 512GB CFast 2 card, you will get roughly half an hour in HQ, 48 minutes in MQ, and an hour and 17 minutes of recording in LQ. Our workflow currently consists of us editing and colouring all our R3D B-roll footage in Premiere on most of our videos, apart from the ones that require a more creative grade, which we'll use Resolve for. Luckily, R3D is natively and fantastically supported in both of these programs. Playback performance is great on our now 3-year-old workstations, and it's fast to get the footage looking good by using the Raw Controls Effects tab. RED offers great flexibility within their RAW settings, which plays a key part in controlling how our footage looks. We always use this to dial in fine adjustments to white balance, and then set the highlight roll-off and contrast settings to best suit the given B-roll setup. Our most common combination is medium contrast and soft highlight roll-off, with some curve adjustments sometimes. It's fantastic how fast you can get your image looking good, and then if you want to really push the image around, you can do so in Resolve. We also use Resolve and RED Cine Pro to pull high quality TIFFs for when we need to pull out good quality stills for promo materials such as images for web or print. With the release of the Komodo, RED also released their RED Control app, which works with both the Komodo and the Raptor. It's an incredibly well featured app that allows you to control so much of these cameras, and we've used it a bunch in a range of different scenarios. For example, when one of us is shooting B-roll of these products by ourselves, we are able to use the wireless feed on our phones to change the position of the product that we're shooting and double check lighting while we're away from the camera. We've also used it a bunch when shooting top-down shots for monitoring, as well as hitting record when the camera is really out of reach. The app is also a great way to allow people that you may have on set with you to view the camera feed easily, though we haven't used that too much. The accessories that we've had sit around our Komodo have changed because we've been using and testing out different rigging and setups over our time with our Komodo, but we will be buying a more permanent solution soon. If you want to learn more about how to accessorize the Komodo, we've actually created a 3-part series last year detailing all the aspects to think about when rigging up the Komodo. You can view that via the playlist in the description below. Let us know what you think of the RED Komodo in the comments below as well. And if you like the video, please give it a like and maybe even consider subscribing so you don't miss out on our awesome upcoming content. And thank you so much for watching.